Hello, and welcome to episode 10 of Desert Fathers in a Year. I'm Jamie Baxter from Exodus 90, and I'm honored to walk alongside you during this year-long journey into the wisdom of the Desert Fathers. The Fathers speak powerfully to us today, offering practical guidance for the struggles of the human condition. Their teachings can become bread for our journey and light for our darkness, helping us not just to endure through the struggles of our time, but to flourish through transformation in Jesus Christ. Last month, during the month of February, we attended carefully to the Father's sayings on perfection. Here in March, we will meditate on Bishop Erik Varden's selection from the second chapter of the systematic collection of the sayings of the Desert Fathers, on peace. The peace offered to us by Christ is not merely the absence of noise or activity. The peace that Christ offers out to us, and which the Fathers found, is dynamic. It is a peace that the world cannot understand and surely cannot give. The desert was a place of silent retreat, where the Desert Fathers fought the interior battle and faced their inward contradictions. And though most of us are not called to retreat to a desert, we can carve out space for prayer, reflection, and study amid the tyranny of the noises unique to our time, drawing upon the wisdom of the desert for our pursuit of peace today. Our March episodes were filmed at the Pontifical Oriental Institute in Rome, a world-renowned center for the study of Eastern Christianity, and a vital hub for understanding the legacy of the Desert Fathers. The Orientale was established by Pope Benedict XV in 1917, the year of the Russian Revolution. The First World War was raging. The world seemed to be getting torn apart. The pontiff, meanwhile, wanted to insist that it is one. Establishing a seat of Oriental learning in Rome, he reminded the Western Church that its roots lie in the East, keen to invite the whole Church, and thereby the world, to breathe, as Pope St. John Paul II would later memorably say, to breathe with both lungs, and to keep a broad horizon, forgetting no aspect of its life-giving patrimony, mindful that the truth is always greater than any given cultural expression. The library of the Oriental Institute, in which Bishop Varden has spent many hours in study, is home to a remarkable collection of literature on the Desert Fathers. Like the monastic settings of the Cistercian Abbey of Novi Dvor and San Anselmo in January and February, the Orientale embodies a living connection to the enduring legacy of the early monastic tradition. With that, I'll hand it over to Bishop Varden as we read and meditate on a saying from Abba Antony. This is episode 10 of Desert Fathers in a Year. Peace.
Abba Antony also used to say, "He who remains in the wilderness practicing peace is relieved of three types of battle, that of hearing, that of speaking, and that of seeing. Only one remains to him, that of the heart." When Christ appears to his disciples after rising from the dead, the first thing he says is, "Peace." Emerged from a struggle whose dimensions we are unfit to imagine, his victorious struggle against death's reign, he comes bearing peace, even as, still in the heyday of his public ministry, he sent his disciples forth, 2 by 2, to carry abroad his peculiar peace, which the world cannot give. The disciples were to carry no stuff of their own, no second pair of sandals, no purse, not even a staff to ward off mad dogs. The one thing they were to carry was peace, in such abundance that they could make a gift of it wherever they passed, yet still be left with undiminished reserves. Many of us yearn for peace. We're conscious of being agitated, uncentered, drawn in many different directions at once. I dare say we can recognize ourselves in a poem the Jesuit poet Gerard Manley Hopkins wrote in 1879. It's one of the few poems I know by heart. I memorized it in my 20s. I needed it then. I clung to it. When will you ever, peace, wild wood dove, shy wings shut, your round me roaming end and under be my boughs? When, peace, will you, peace? I'll not play hypocrite to own my heart. I yield, you do come sometimes, but that piecemeal peace is poor peace. What pure peace allows alarms of wars, the daunting wars, the death of it? Oh, surely reaving peace my Lord should leave in lure some good. And so he does leave patience exquisite, that plumes to peace thereafter. And when peace here does house, he comes with work to do. He does not come to coo, he comes to brood and sit. That image of the wood dove is brilliant. Peace can seem quite as elusive, scared by the slightest noise or sudden shadow. We're left thinking, no, gone again, only to cry out, when, peace? Hopkins reminds us, though, that peace, so easily perturbed, is not yet perfect. Pure peace resists chaos and spreads itself within chaos, bringing about a loveliness of order where we least expected it. Peace is not reducible to sentiment. It manifests character formed in the hard school of patience, a virtue life gives us ample opportunity to practice. Patience, which broadens us, plumes to peace at the opportune time. We shall find the mature dove stable, dependable, brooding like the spirit on the waters of the first day of creation, sitting on eggs, engendering life. The second chapter in the systematic collection of the Desert Fathers' sayings deals with the subject of peace. It bears the overall title, that it is needful to pursue peace with all one's zeal. The Fathers' term for peace is hesychia. We may associate that word with hesychasm, a contemplative movement in the Eastern Christian Church. However, it is not specific to the Orient. The Western monastic ideal of pax, a word inscribed over the gate of countless Benedictine and Cistercian monasteries, a pledge to those who enter whether to visit or to remain, points in the same direction. The fact that we are urged to pursue peace zealously shows that the peace in question is not the tranquility of repose. To be at peace like the Fathers were is not to be lounging in a deck chair in a fragrant garden while angels fluttering refill our drinks. Peace is a dynamic reality to be followed determinedly, like the pillar of fire and cloud during Israel's exodus. Remember Christ's words, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you." Words spoken in the upper room just before he told the 11, Judas having slipped into the night, "Let us go hence," to take them to Gethsemane, thence to enter into the winepress. The peace we seek is not in contrast to the labor of discipleship. It presupposes this labor. Antony says as much in this pithy saying, which deals with peace pursuit in the setting of eremitical life. One who withdraws from society to practice peace in this way, the text employs the participle hesychasdon, for tellingly, the Greek noun for peace gives rise to an active verb. Such a peace practitioner is relieved, Antony says, of the battles of hearing, speaking, and seeing. And that is the advantage of the desert, or of a monastic enclosure with no Wi-Fi. One is freed from constant extraneous stimulus. There's quiet around, and for a moment or two, this feels absolutely wonderful. Peace at last. Then, though, the rumbling within begins, and we realize what masses of noisy junk we carry, what unresolved tensions born of anger, jealousy, desire, anxiety, greed, all those movements of the heart the fathers referred to as passions. It is when the noise round about recedes that the inward work begins. We're faced with a considerable paradox. The ascetic withdraws into a context of outward peace in order to confront the unpeace he carries in his heart. He embarks on the battle to depetrify, purify, and enlarge his heart to make it a fit abode for God's love. Peace is not incompatible with this battle, at times very fierce, as long as we stay close to Christ, rejecting all that breaks our communion with him. Christ is our peace, writes St. Paul. As long as we live with him, in him, peace will be our portion, even when we do not sensibly perceive it.
Abba Antony also used to say, "He who remains in the wilderness practicing peace is relieved of 3 types of battle, that of hearing, that of speaking, and that of seeing. One only remains to him, that of the heart." A piecemeal peace, all too easily disturbed, is not the true peace offered to us by Christ when he says to his apostles and to us, "Peace be with you." If we stay close to Christ, with him and in him, he will become our peace. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode. Please visit desertfathers.com to subscribe to our email newsletter. That's desertfathers.com. Desert Fathers in a Year is brought to you by Exodus 90, produced by EWTN, and written by Bishop Erik Varden. Men, download the Exodus 90 app today to join our Lent challenge. By his passion and death for us on the cross, Christ leads the ultimate exodus for all God's people out from the reign of sin and death. Throughout the 40 days of Lent, we'll meditate on the prophecies of Jesus' passion given by Jonah and Isaiah as we make an exodus of our own from the pharaohs of our time. Download the Exodus 90 app or visit exodus90.com to learn more. Saint Antony of the Desert, pray for us.